Starting off, I have removed the fender flares, and man, it looks weird. I've had them on for I don't know, 6 months, maybe longer. It looks really weird. I like it though, because I put the spacers on. Got some serious stance to it. "20x12s and a 2-inch spacer." The reason I did that is because with the flares on, rims and tires sat flush with the flare. I didn't like that. I like them sticking out a little bit, so I put the 2 inches on, which brought them out, and they're sticking out of the flares about 1.5 inches. But if you look at it now, looks like they're sticking out a lot, which still looks good. But I'm going to put the flares back on when I'm done with this. Right now I'm in the process of cutting that off. Not cutting it off, but the bolts are welded, so I'm cutting the welds on the bolts so I can remove this, and I can take the bumper off and start getting ready for this body lift. There's one. I think it's got it. It's actually welded here too, so that's got to be cut. Why they welded the crap out of this? 2 bolts would have been fine, I guess. Anyway. Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Huh. First time I've seen her without that, ever. She's always been on there ever since I bought it. Definitely looks different. Definitely looks different. And it's gonna look this way for a few days. Well, it's gonna look real good when I get it back together though. The only thing is, I don't know if I'm going to put that back on or not. So I have to get it all together and see how she looks. But, that's it. Good morning. So this is a video on a body lift, a 3-inch body lift on a 1999 Dodge Ram 1500 Sport. And I've seen a few videos on YouTube about this, but they weren't very informative to me. I mean, they were helpful, but they weren't very informative. So I'm going to go ahead and do one. I'm about to put this body lift on. And there she is right behind me. I'm in my gym at the moment, which is a barn. All the gyms are closed because of Corona, COVID-19, whatever. So I had to move all my stuff out here in the barn. That's besides the point. And I guess the reason I bring that up is because originally I was going to pull the truck in here, which it barely fits. It's a extended cab short bed, but it basically goes all the way to this wall, if you want to call it a wall. It's actually doors, but it goes all the way there and pretty much all the way to these doors. and it's tight, but I have pulled trucks in here before to work on. But I got my stuff set up, so now the plan is I'm going to do the lift right there. I've already prepped it today. I took off the fender flares, which are now sitting there, and I took that off the front. I had to cut it because the bolts were welded, so I had to cut them out, and it was also welded right here to the brackets that are welded to the frame. And of course, that's going to be in the way of removing the bumper, so I went ahead and took those off, and it looks very weird to me now because I'm used to having that on the front and the flares. Currently have 6 inches of lift, suspension, and the rims are 20 by 12, and the tires are 35 by 12.5 by 20. We're going to get going on that, and I'm going to do a very detailed description and show everything of what I do, and hopefully it turns out okay. So yeah, the family came out. I was just thinking that I can guarantee you 100% that this video will get interrupted several times by children, because obviously the children have no school right now, so they will be coming out and bothering me. So oh well, it's gonna happen. Anyway, here's the stuff. I don't know exactly what brand it is. I traded a buddy this body lift for another Ram that I had. It was let's say 96 extended cab 2-wheel drive that I bought a few years ago, and it's been sitting. I had to do some engine work to it, and I had to let some vehicles go. So I traded it to him, gave him a real good deal, and he hooked me up with this. I told him all I wanted was a body lift. You can have the truck. So they got the truck running, and it's running good, and they're very happy with it, and I'm very happy with this. So that deal worked out real well. I did download or print off it's Performance Accessories, and I don't know if this is the brand or not of this one, but I could tell from the directions what to do. I'm mechanically inclined. I know enough that I can figure it out. So there's not too much to it. I mean, there's the pucks there, miscellaneous brackets, and your hardware hoses. And I know those are the front bumper brackets, which I have to drill out and do some cutting on. And then these for the bed get welded, and other brackets and whatnots. So that's it. That's what came in the box. So I know it's going to be a lot of work. It's okay though. I'm excited. I'm very excited to do it because I love doing this stuff. I've been working a lot of overtime. I ain't had time. I actually was trying to figure out a day that I could take off from work so I could have like a 3-day weekend to do it. And I was recently trying to figure that out, and then we got told that we're shut down next week or this week because of COVID-19. So I got the time. I'm going to get it done, among other things that I got to get done, like my yard and my other businesses, but that's the plan. So I got it prepped, and we are good to go. So I'm going to tear into it. I got a lot of grass to cut, obviously, so I got to do that tomorrow, but some other things, but I'm going to get going on this too. I'm going to start with the bed. I'd rather start with the cab, but I'm going to start with the bed because I've seen from other videos that it's harder because of the bolts. They get rusty, and you can see my truck is rusty. It's a Midwest truck. Salt, winters, snow. So yeah, it's bad. That's another thing I got to fix, but we'll get her done. I'm going to start with the bed, and then I'm going to get the cab. I'm going to get it done, so that's how she looks right now. We're going to go up 3 more inches at least, because once I get the body lift on, I am going to get at least 38-inch tires instead of these little 35s. That'll give me plenty of room to put some 38s on there, possibly even 40s, we'll see. So that's it for now, and we will continue when I start tearing into this thing. See ya!
Okay, go inside. Oh, easy.
Hello, another day, another dollar. We are backed in. I'm about to see about unbolting the bed. Crawling up underneath there. Show you where the bolts are that I can see so far. So you're supposed to take your gas lid off. There should be some screws in here, which this does not have any. I notice it's wire tied underneath that. So anyway, we'll loosen that up. The directions say, you can see the wire tie there, but directions say you're supposed to take this rubber hose off. So the clamp down there, you want to unclamp that and take that out all together, because you're going to have to make that longer, which I'll probably do last actually, but we'll get up underneath here and I can tell. And luckily, it's already lifted 6 inches. So it's not too bad to get under here. It looks like there's one here, a bolt that attaches to this plate, which is part of the bed. And then we got a bolt here, and they are rusty. So I don't know how hard it's going to be. Then on up, I don't see anything else. So we got one there, same on the other side. Where you at? Right there, and right there. And then up front, the front looks easier. It's right there, right up front. And like I said, there's nothing in the middle. That's where them blocks go, them copper looking blocks that you're supposed to weld in. So it looks like 3 per side on the bed. And then it should lift. Of course, I'll check and make sure any wires or anything. I mean, this thing's wired everywhere. It's got rock lights up there, but I'm going to start getting some tools and see about getting these off, and then see what happens. got a little bit into it. They're actually not bad. What I'm doing right here, this hole, it's a hole so you can, get up in there with some extensions and whatnot. Same on all of them. This one had a little a bolt through it and a spacer that this was clipped onto. So I went to take it off. Of course, the bolt snapped. I just threw it. I mean, don't need it. Obviously, that'll get tied up somewhere else anyway. But I'm using, it's a 17 millimeter socket, and I'm using a breaker bar, which you're going to need because these are going to be hard, and an impact driver. With the breaker bar, it was butter, so hopefully you don't want any of these to break. So be extra careful, because if they break inside the threads, I guess you'd have to drill them out or whatever, but be super careful. And I'll set this up so you can see me get this one out, and I'm going to take the rest out in the back, then we'll go up to the front side of the bed. Through the hole, and see, I've used the breaker bar, did a few turns, so now the impact should get it the rest of the way. And it says, stupid wind, it says not to take them all the way out, leave them in there just a little bit. Stopped. For some reason. Oh, that's not good. That's usually when something breaks. Another thing too, I've been spraying them. I'll go ahead and spray a little bit more, but PB Blaster. If you work on them too much, they get too hot too, and they break easy if they're hot. Hopefully this comes out nice and easy. It's coming. Try the impact again. There she is. There's one. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back up in there, but hopefully all 6 of them work out that way. We'll see. There it is. Well, here's the front. It did exactly what I said be careful to do. Not to do, I mean. Both of the front bolts broke. That was easy. I was careful, like I said to do, but they both broke. Up here and back there. The back 4 came out just fine, but the front 2, nope. There's a cab. That's for the cab, but yeah. So I got to figure out now how to fix this. I'm probably going to take the bed off. Try and vice grip them. If they don't work, I'm going to have to drill them out. So, yep, it's turned into a bigger job. So I spent the last 45 minutes or so getting everything ready to pull this bed off. So that's done. The wiring's all hanging. Took the tail lights out, the rear bumper, tailgate, license plate, plastics. Got them tied up. And underneath, the wiring's out of the way, so I gotta go get my girlfriend and the kids and see if we can pull this thing off. Thinking hopefully that we can just lift it back up straight with it and then lean it up against the barn there. And if we can do that, then I should be able to keep it right there and get them bolts out of there. So hopefully that works okay. I have taken beds off before, but not a Ram. I think I did a S10, square body S10 a long time ago, but we'll see what happens. There it is. Got it leaning back there. Wasn't too bad with the kids and everybody. It's more awkward than anything, but figured it's a good time now though to go ahead and clean this frame up, get it painted. Plus you gotta extend this so it's easier to do that also. This would be a great time to put a new fuel pump in. Boom, right there. But yeah, here they are. Broken and broken. So get them taken care of. This is all back on soon. But I'm done for the day. I'm gonna clean up and get going again tomorrow. Let's go. Day 2, working on these broken bolts. I got one out, that one over there. I heated it up a little bit, best I could in the wind with a little propane. And I got a good grip on it with the vice grips. This one not so much. I cut it. I was going to drill it. I started drilling. The drill bits didn't work out too well, so I stopped that and I cut a slot in it, thinking I could kind of screwdriver it out. No. So then I thought, well, I took this little socket and I beat it down as far as I could, and sure enough, yeah, it's still tight. It grabbed it and it's coming out. So that's just a little trick in case. I can't believe how absolutely tight that is. That's just crazy. Anyway, I'll get that out, and I started painting on the frame a little bit, and then we'll get this back up on there and lift it up and take care of some of that wiring too. So we'll see in a minute. Went and cleaned the holes up, the 6 holes. 1, 2, and 2 jerks up at the top. 3, 4, 5, 6. Clean them up. While I was here, I went and straightened up these lips on the bottom of the bed. They were all crooked. Everything. Got them somewhat straight. Then I painted the back of the axle there blue. Just kind of lightly went with some flat black on the frame. Just enough for now. I'm gonna hit it better later. They don't look too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off. I'm gonna pull the truck back where it was when I took the bed off. Then I'm gonna take these off. That way when we lift the bed back on, it's easier. And I'm gonna put the bed back on, put in a couple bolts like it says in the directions, and then block up one side, then block up the other side, and tighten her down. It also says use Loctite on the little bit of Loctite on the threads. So that'll be the next step. There she is. Bed is on. Had a buddy come over who was going to help me with the bolts, but I got him out before he showed up. And he helped me lift the bed back on, which was a lot easier. So there you can see we got 3 inches higher. And it is up there. Man, I love it. I am loving it. see if I can swing around. I'm 6'2", so that's where it stands next to me. So I like it. He's got a welder. These little blocks. You can see the pucks there. 2 in the back, 1 in the front. I got them snugged right now. I'm going to go through and tighten them, but I put the Loctite on there. And then these blocks are supposed to go right here for your supports because they don't bolt. So you're supposed to weld those in right there for support. When you have any load in here, that's supposed to help with that so it doesn't sag in the middle. 2, put 1 on each side. And throw a spot weld on it. And the only question I had was lining it up. Because I mean there's some play. And you can't really line it up until the cab is up lifted too. So I'm just going to snug it down real good, and then when I get the cab lifted up, then I'll go back, maybe loosen it if needed to line up everything, make sure it's straight and even with the cab. There's a pretty good shot. So I'm going to go through and take care of all this wiring. You know, get the tail lights, tailgate, the bumper, and all that back on. According to the directions, you got your bumper mounting bolts here, and then you just go up an inch or 2, drill new holes, which takes the bumper and lifts it up with the body. But there's plenty of room under there now. There's my blue. Looks good. My buddy mentioned too that it'd probably be pretty easy to change the fuel pump now. So I got it sitting right here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Cut, and I'll post or record how I do that. Them gorgeous tail lights I put back in. It's an LED bulb, and in case you're wondering how to do that with resistors, I have another video that talks about that. You can look it up. I got the wiring in. I got it tucked, wire tied, all nice and neat and pretty. Yeah. There's one up there. Got it all tied off. So it's all out of the way. Everything looks nice and clean back here. One thing I did notice as I was back here, I noticed that this puck was hanging off a little more than the other side, so what I did was, because I mentioned not being able to square it, I went from this edge of the bed to the end of the frame there, and I kind of measured it. It's squared up. We're at 12 3/4 there. So I loosened it back up and adjusted accordingly. And over here, just a hair under 12 3/4, which is close enough for me. So tail lights are in, and we are running out of light. I'm going to start working on this gas before it gets dark. So here's the original hose. It's saying to cut it in the middle and then put that in there inside of it. The 2 clamps on each side. I bought new clamps. and then clamp to your to that, and then clamp to the gas tank. But it's saying to use a new hose for the vent tube, but the hoses that came with it are not any longer. It can't be that one, that's too small. I'm assuming it's this one, but as you can see, it's shorter. So I don't understand that. So I'm going to try and use the original. It probably would have been a good idea just to get new ones anyway, but we'll try and use this one again. If not, then I will get a new one. But I'm going to work on this. This is too big also to go inside of that rubber hose. It would damage it more than anything. So I figured, let's see how it would look. You know, obviously when you have a factory, you got 2-3 inches overhang. I've got it sitting up here, and if you can see it, I got it in, and I think I can go ahead and use the factory ones without getting any new ones. I probably will get new ones eventually, but you can see that they're long enough. So I'm going to go ahead and clamp them in, and you can see how it looks when I'm done with that. So I used the originals without using any thing. You can see the difference. About just a little bit there from the rust. Put new hose clamps on it. That's pretty well up against it. And same thing with the vent tube. I probably would advise using new ones just to get that little bit of extra meat on there. But I mean, this works for now. I'm just trying to get it done tonight so I can turn it around. I was using these. I used 2 of them in this little stupid thing, and they both dropped, and they like disappeared off the face of the earth down there somewhere. I don't know where they're at, but anyway, try and get these wired up and tied off, and then I am done with the back, except for putting the tailgate back on, but and the bumper, of course. But that'd be it for tonight. Okay, tailgate is on. I didn't worry about the wiring for the rock lights there. I just tied them up right there for now. The other side, the wire is real frayed and not even barely connected, so I'm gonna have to run some new wire for these if I ever decide to use them again, which I'm not sure about either. So bed is pretty much done. Looks funny like that, but of course it's going to look that way unless you do it all. Tail lights are in and working. Obviously missing the bumper, which is right there. But now would be a great time to put a roll pan on there, though, actually. You almost stand up and put it on. So I'm going to get this turned around and ready for the front right here. Unfortunately, it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, so I don't think I'll be doing anything tomorrow, and it's definitely not going to go in here. So, get it turned around.
Bye. Bye.
Good morning. Day, I guess 3, if you want to call it that. Working on the front. Nasty rainy day. Not bad rain, but just enough sprinkle that it's annoying. So I made this little, I don't know, awning so I can work under here. It ain't raining now, which is cool. So hopefully it stays this way the rest of the day. So I'm working on the front, going off the directions. Again, these ain't the directions for this kit, but they work. Disconnect battery cables, check. Remove airbag fuse, check. Parking brake. So, it says under the driver's side door, remove a bolt, which is that boy right there. That was up there. Remove that, and then it says you take this bracket, take it off, flip it around, and then you can put it back in there. That's what it says. Also says something about canisters. You have to reroute it if you have canisters, which I'm assuming goes right here, and I don't have any, so I don't have to worry about that. Automatic transmission shift linkage rod. We'll climb up under here and show you where that's at. This boy right here. It attaches in here. It goes through that hole, and there's a cotter pin that holds that in place. We'll take that cotter pin out, move that out of the way. So obviously that's connected to the transmission, and this is connected to the body. The body's going to go up, so that's going to have to be adjusted. Transfer case, there's a bolt right here. Whoops. That you want to loosen. Well, don't want to drop that. Loosen it up, and you can see it slides. Again, this is connected over here, and that's connected to the body, which is going to go up, and that's going to have to be adjusted. So far, I believe that's everything under here except for the steering shaft, which I've already done. There's one bolt. There's your gearbox right there, and then your steering shaft. That's sitting to the left of it. Undo that bolt, take the bolt out, and pull the steering shaft off. There's an adapter that goes onto that gearbox. So that's where I'm at so far. Looks like next I'm to the front bumper. So I'm going to get going on that. Front bumper cover is off. There's a pain in the butt. And then you look underneath the cover, and what do you see? A whole bunch of big old dents. So that was something I had no idea that was even there. It was a pain in the butt because of these. So it secures the bottom of the cover to the bumper. Of course, old rusty, I rounded out real quick. I had to cut a couple with the Sawzall. So there's our beat up bumper, I guess. So that's great. So I'll try and beat it out when I get it off and straighten it up the best I can, I guess. I don't know. I guess the good thing is you won't see it with the bumper cover, which works because I didn't see it and I didn't know it was like that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to work on getting this off. So here's an update. I got the fog lights out, the wiring down, unzip tied and out of the way. As you can see, the wiring is absolutely horrible. You got all this that I got to go through, figure out what it is, but right now I'm in the process of cutting out them brackets some brackets. I was holding that bully bar up front. And sure enough, the bracket is right in the way of getting the bolts out. And bolts down there to take off the front bumper. There's 3. And if you see, look through there, there's 1 back behind that bracket. So I got to cut it out so I can get that bolt out and get the bumper off. Bumper's off. I got to tell you, I am absolutely amazed. The more and more I tear into this truck, the more crap I am seeing. This bracket that they welded on, if you can see it right there with them grind marks, they welded the bracket to the bumper bolt. I don't have any words for that. So I couldn't pull the bolt out. I mean, I left these brackets in for now because I'm not sure if I'm going to put that bar back on or not. I wanted to get the lift up and then set it up there, see how it looked. But if I do put it back on, I might have to get some new brackets because it's going to have to go up, obviously, to match the front bumper. So I just wanted to rant on that. Why did you weld that bracket to the bolt? I mean, come on. Anyway, bumper's off. So we'll see what's next on the list. And there's the kids. Goodbye. Got a few more steps done. Going on the list. Heater hose. Remove the heater hose from the bracket. So this hose right here, I don't think it makes much of a difference, but there's a little bracket on the valve cover. You lift it off. I don't see that being a problem, but anyway, I did it. Fan shroud, remove the windshield washer bottle, which you can see is down there. It kind of locks into that, slides in from the top. You got to pull the radiator hose up a little bit and then just move it out of the way. So it's just kind of hanging there. Coolant backup reservoir. Undo that line, and same deal, it slid up and it's sitting over there now. And then the fan shroud, 4 bolts, 1 on top, 1 on bottom. Take them 4 out, set it back out of the way. And then it says check wires and hoses, make sure nothing's going to be in the way. And then the next step is to loosen the bolts. Curious to see how those come out. And we're about to find out. So I'm going to go work on that. And we'll check in a minute. Some of these came right out, no problem. One back there, actually the one over there in the very back, completely loose, like almost about to fall out. Almost fell out. These 2 middle ones, forget about it. Very in there. This is how I'm doing it. That ratchet, that's all jacked up, breaker bar, and it's wearing me out. I lift heavy weights 5-6 days a week, and this is wearing me out. So, but it's actually a workout. Getting some bicep action, some back action, a little bit of shoulders. This is the last one. Then we'll be ready to check and make sure everything's out of the way and start jacking up this thing. I'm sure if I had one of them really nice expensive impact drivers, it would probably do this for me, but I don't have that kind of money, so that's why I don't. That's why I have a Walmart. But it works. Not on this stuff. When it gets looser, it'll work. But that's why I mean jacked up ratchet. It's really getting on my nerves too. you don't lift or if you don't work out, I guarantee you will be when you do a body lift. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Of course, 20-year-old truck, salt, dirt, mud, snow. I guess it's bound to be like this, right? But again, it's pretty pitiful that drill would do that. But like I said, I'm happy it was the kit, like 3-piece kit, and I got it for like 70 bucks, so I'm not complaining that much. There it is. Stupid. Set it back up in there. That's it, they're all out. So now, check my wires and jack it up, and I'll record that. Oh my goodness, what happened? Do I get a flat tire? Nah. Got one side of the blocks in, as you can see. Saying to use the factory rubber bushings. I got one on bottom, one on the top. You can't put that top one on top of the puck because there's a lip that comes down. So I'm assuming that's the way it goes. I don't know. I hope so. It's the only way it can go. So that's the way it is going. Here's the jack. That jack, I used a piece of old barn roof or whatever, and a piece of a skid that I cut. I just got it pushing up right there, so I'm just gonna tightly snug these down. Not real tight, but just snug it a little bit. Let's get it started. Tighten it all up, and then I'll move to the other side. And yeah, the rain came back, so I'm getting wet right now. But I'm just giving it a few turns. Make sure we got some thread on all 4 of them. Drop it back down slowly. Boom. And move to the other side. Jack it up. Put them in. And see if anything needs adjusted, then I'll tighten the bad boys down. Obviously it ain't done, but you can tell that it's leaning. The other side needs to come back up, which will straighten all this out right here. Stupid rain. It's not supposed to rain tomorrow. I just wanted to get this thing done. Look at yeah. Leave it like that. Woo. And my little thing fell, so that's cool. So I'll get some shots of this going up, me jacking it up and stuff. Okay, I think we're ready. Got our blocks ready, our bolts ready. Jack's ready. Not sure it matters. I'm no expert by any means. where you put it at. Maybe it does. That's where I got it. It worked on the other side. Maybe be better to go a little more in the middle of the door, but I don't know. Again, I'm no expert. Kids, see, I forgot where I was at. Yeah, okay. This wood. Yep. That's where I got it sitting. Right on that plate. There's probably a better place to put it. I don't know. Maybe right here, maybe back there. I don't know. But this is working, so that's what I'm doing. So I'll set this camera up and jack her on up. See how it looks. Definitely want to take it slow. Nice and easy. Listen for creaks and anything. Looks like she's going. You also want to keep an eye on this wood, make sure it's not going to kick out. Especially when you're underneath there trying to put these blocks in. So that's a good way to get her hand smashed. I took it up a hair past this body line where we have a little play. Get these bushings out. Never mind, block goes on top of that bushing. Go up just a touch higher. I know that jack's not going anywhere, that wood's crooked, but there it is. It's your bolt in the factory. Run it through. Get it started. If anything's dangerous, this is the dangerous part. Block on there, bottom bushing. Hard to reach up there. Get it started. Same on all of them. Yeah, the bolts. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Hold right into the jack. The washer. Factory mount bushing. Get started. Ratchet. I'd say drop it back down. Boom. There it is. Make sure it lines up. Seems to be nice. Body lines are straight. Now the other side, that could be a different story. Yep. I don't know if you can see that, but the bed is a touch bit higher than the cab. Yeah, that could be something as simple as maybe a few washers to kind of shim it out or something. I don't know. I have to research that a little bit. I guess now the next step is to go back and tighten all these up. And then start putting all this stuff back together. But I'm going to tighten these up and I'm going to call it a day. That's a good day right there. Finish her up tomorrow. Get the bumper back on after I straighten it out. Fender flares back on. All this wiring figured out, straightened up. Probably just going to cut it all out, all these lights, and redo them later. But until tomorrow, see you. Good morning. Bright and early. Day 3, day 4, I don't know, I can't remember. Started out first thing, I went to the hardware store. I got some bolts, I got some nuts, I got some washers. And I came back and I remembered that I forgot to put Loctite on the big bolts for the mounts. So I just got done taking them back out. Yeah, I took them all back out. I put Loctite on the threads and I tightened them all back down. And also what I did was back here where I was just at. You can see that we are now straight. Well, no, actually it's down just a hair, but I can live with that. I put 2 of these washers. Here's on the very top. The top of that puck. I put 2 washers. That's the best place I could think to put them, instead of on the bottom. And I tightened it down and it lined it up somewhat. I mean, it's you can't barely even tell, but unless you're really looking, it is down. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna start putting things back together, work on this bumper, getting it straightened out. So what I realized was the new bumper mounts in the front, they're gonna bolt right here. So this brace comes out. As you can see, this bumper is all bent in, so I got to straighten it out for this to go back on the new bumper brackets. I also got some new bolts and these little clips. After I straighten that out, these little clips, I got new ones right there, instead of them stupid star bolts. I got regular bolts, and I'm gonna straighten this out and get it back on. So we'll check in a bit. Fan shroud is now complete and installed. Funny thing is, I got 2 skids laying here on the ground so I can reach. I gotta step up on here just so I can reach inside here now. Side note, they come with these drop down brackets. So right here, there is 3 of them. These are factory bolt, goes into the factory spot, and then it obviously drops this whole shroud down 3 inches. They bolt in right here. Now on the bottom, because of that hose that's right there, that's coming in, you have to cut the tab, this tab right here, you have to cut it off flush, and you got to use that bracket there that comes in the kit. Again, goes in the factory spot with the factory nut or bolt, and then you got to drill into your shroud and use the new bolt and nut and washers that come with the kit on this side. And it was pretty awkward for me to hold a wrench on the nut, because I had to climb up here on the tire and reach down and reach up in there to hold it from spinning, but it got none. Over here, same deal. Drop down bracket, and the bottom, I don't know if they forgot about that or what, but you got your drain plug there, which is right in the way of that bracket. So I just, as you can see, I just butted it up against it, and then if it ever needs drained, all you gotta do is undo that and move the shroud. But it's secure. It's good. I did have to, this wiring here, it was clipped up here and it was right in the way of that shroud, so you had to unclip that, you know, clip them back in. And that's it as far as the shroud goes. Of course, your washer reservoir, windshield washer, slides in right there. And I think mine's broke. There's no screws or bolts holding it, so I'm just going to drill a new self-tapper in right there, which will hold that. And I imagine your coolant reservoir slides in over here. So on to the next step. we got that boy in. That wasn't that easy. More awkward than anything, getting your hands up in there, getting everything lined up, because there's a flat side, so there's only one way it can go in. Right up here, you put this in here first. I had to go in and clean out all the junk that was in there, and I kind of wire brushed a little bit, which helped. And you get it started, lined up and started, make sure you're right, and then tap it in with a hammer. And then this slid onto here, okay, after getting it lined up, and you got an Allen head here and a regular socket there. So that's what you do there. So that part's done. Alright, here's the next update. There's something that I forgot. There's a linkage that attaches right there. I forgot to mention this earlier. It attaches right there and it comes up. There's a little arm right there with the bushing in it. It attaches to that. That's your steering column, you know, where you put it park, neutral, first, whatever. So you got to take that off. There's a bolt in the bottom, and then you could pop it out, and it needs to get welded, which is this right here. This is the bottom part of it, and then that attaches up to the top by the steering column. This little piece comes with the kit. It's saying you cut right here, you mark it because of the bend. You want to keep the bend the same, and then you weld that in the middle. So I got a buddy that's going to do that for me because I don't have a welder. Currently working on the front bumper. Like you can see, it's all bent up. That's the factory mounts. You take them off. And these new bumper brackets here, which by the way, these are for a sport model. Mine's a sport. If you have a regular Ram, I believe they're different. So these bolt in the same places there on the frame. You're supposed to put these on the bumper first and just snug it, and then put them down here, but I'm doing it like this so I can get this bumper up and see if I can straighten it out while it's on here. I kind of went through and painted a little bit up in here. Nothing special. I don't think you're going to see it anyway. And that's about it, I think. I went to put my hose on here, and the little nipple broke. So I got to figure something out about that. Other than that, the bumper and get the shift linkage back up and the wiring. Hook the battery back up, put the fuse back in. I believe we're done. So we're still plugging along. Goodbye. Right now I'm trying to get this bumper straightened out the best I can. So I said I wanted to put it on the truck so I could see where I'm at. Bumper cover is going to hide most of this, but I want everything to be straight and lined up. So I'm taking different bars and kind of molding it into place. Then we got the Big Daddy here. you can remember what it looked like when I first took it off, it looks a whole lot better than it did. Still got this big one right here, and I still got to straighten that out, get that bolt in, but our gap up here is pretty much better than what it was. So I think we're getting there. So that's just how I straightened up the bumper. You straighten the bumper up enough to where it fits the bumper cover okay. Still some big dents in there, but all my bolts are tight and it is secure, and we got the same amount of gap on each side. And I've been spending about the 45 minutes cleaning up this wiring, the wiring that was in the way on the bottom. You can see that I just drilled into the fan shroud and wire tied it up, and the wiring that was all running into the cab is all hanging out right there. I got to figure out where it's going and if it's junk or not. The fog lights that were up front when I bought the truck are trash. I got some new ones to go up there, so I'm going to rewire those completely.
Come on.
And probably most of that wire right there is going to be junk, so I got to pull it out through the cab. Just cleaning things up. Get everything cleaned up under here. Got everything cleaned up in here. So I'm about to put the bumper cover back on and bolt it up. And one thing I did notice, I've already put it on a few times, but it hangs right here. It hangs down a little bit, and that's probably because this bumper, the factory bumper, doesn't have the braces right here. So I got to get some of those. And I'm not sure, but I think that with these braces here, I think they attach to the bumper cover, which raises it up here, I guess. So we'll see about that. I got a buddy coming over. He's going to answer that question for me. So, other than that, it's just about done, other than the rod for the transmission that I have to have welded. So I got another buddy that's going to do that tomorrow. We'll get it in, and my flare's back on, and battery hooked up, and we'll fire her back up. Good morning. Day 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Can't remember. And we got rain again. So yeah, I had to put my tarp back up. And I got a little wet today, but that's alright. Bumper cover is back on, as you can see. So yeah, I mean, as bad as that bumper was dented, you can't tell with that cover on, which is very good news for me. So it's on. It's not looking too bad again. I think them braces will bring that up a little bit. I got my rod welded today, and as I was putting it back on, that little grommet rubber piece that it's supposed to slide into broke on me. So I got that temporarily until I can find another grommet or whatever to fix that even better than that. That will work for now, I do believe. So the weld's up here, you can't see it. And of course, I got it back up down there. Yeah, you can see it. You might be able to see the weld on it. I went in town to a little shop, and there was a guy there working on a Avalanche, I think, and he hooked me up and he welded that for me in his spare time. So shout out to him. And unfortunately didn't get his name, but if you happen to watch this video, thank you very much, buddy. So the wiring that was hanging, which I believe is the factory wiring for the fog lights, I got it tied up. So it's pretty clean down there, other than the rusty front end, but I still got to fix that. And I'm just going to curl that up, set it aside for now, because I want to get this thing started. It's been too long. I did get my back flares on last night, so I did do that. I'm going to do that wiring and put my front flares on. I got my license plate back on. I ain't put the bumper back on yet because I'm going to paint it blue. The same intense blue pearl that this is. So that's why that's not on yet. Of course, you got to drill new holes to raise it up 3 inches, so I still got to do that. But here's the bumper. I'm going to paint it. So I'm sure the next time I see you, I'll have the flares on and we'll be ready to start her up. And hopefully everything works as it should. So we will check back in a bit. See you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, she is back together. Bumper cover is on. Fender flares are on. I have not flipped my mirrors up yet. I'll leave them down for now until I put on my ghost trailer. And I am about to start her up. Battery is connected. Wires are cut and put away. And there she is. I have not had her started since, well, let's see. Of course, I pulled her back, did the back, the bed, and then started her up, turned her around to pull in the front end. I don't remember exactly when I did that, to be honest with you. So it's been a couple days at least. So I'm very excited to see if she gets started, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna set the camera up here out of the rain and see if she will fire up. Boom. Well, she started right up, just like I was hoping she would. Running like a champ. 3 inches higher with the body lift. There's Puss. She looks good. She's looked good. Still raining. You want to say hi? Say hi, Puss. Hi. Oh, I was just so happy that she started up. This was a good sized project for me. I loved every minute of it. I did have a few issues, but I worked through them. Got it taken care of. And she's sitting pretty. So now I'm going to go and take some after pictures. I have taken before pictures. I'm going to take some after pictures. And I still got some things to do, don't get me wrong. But that's majority of the work has been done. So now it's just little things. And I am very happy with the way it turned out. Very, very happy. So thank you for tuning into this video, tutorial, whatever you want to call it. And I hope that I answered any questions that you had, and I hope I have made it as detailed as possible. Like I said, I watched a few videos and it didn't really go into major detail about how it was done and everything that was involved. And I tried to get that into my video, so I hope that helps if anybody goes to try and do this. So if there is any questions, please feel free to ask me, and I will answer them the best that I can. What, Puss? And again, thank you for watching. And if you are going to do this, I wish you the best of luck. What? Say hi. Say hi. Yeah. As far as time, I don't know exactly how much time I have spent on this because it's now Saturday. I believe I started it on Monday, the prep work or whatever. But I haven't really tracked how much time I have spent out here working on it. I have been working on it every day, but some days for 4 or 5, 6 hours and other days for a couple hours. I mean, it depends, especially on this weather. But I don't know exactly how long it took me. And I took my time and I made sure I did everything right too. So that's the thing. I didn't want to cut any corners or rig anything, so I made sure I did everything right. So I took my time, I planned it, and I got her done. There is, like I said, still some things I got to get done. The blocks in the back for the bed, I got to get them welded in. So I talked to my buddy about that. Here comes Mother Cat. Princess Rocket. Hey. And of course the wiring, I'm going to figure all that out, but that has nothing to do with the body lift itself. So that doesn't interest you guys. But she's up there. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time. And I hope this helps anybody that's going to body lift a second gen Dodge Ram. It's my dream truck. Always has been. I don't know why exactly. It's the body style. Well, yeah, it's the body style of them. I love the body style. I wouldn't trade this truck for the world, honestly. Yeah, it's 20 years old or whatever, but you know, you see Silverados and everything like that. They all look the same. They all look the same. So I love it. It's my dream truck. It's what I've been dreaming about for years. I finally have her, and I'm very, very happy with what I have. I am blessed to have what I have. So thank you again, and take care. And good luck with your projects.